Well, hello, everybody. That was an interesting hello. Hello, everybody. All right, so my name is Sean. Many of you know who I am and have known me for a long time, and some of you have no idea who I am. So I'll just give you a quick little introduction. I've been working with teenagers in a church setting since before any of you were born, and I worked here at the church with the teenagers starting before some of you were born. So I've been working with teenagers a very long time, and now currently I post videos on YouTube for a living, which is a little bit of a different situation. And today, I have the pleasure of getting to talk to you. My wife is right there in the back of the room if you don't happen to know her. And let's go ahead and get started. And if you can turn to Matthew 7 in your Bibles before I get started, because I'm going to transition very quickly into Matthew 7 when it's time for us to do so. And we'll be finishing up on the Sermon on the Mount. But before we do that, I want to tell you about my fun weekend. So as I mentioned, I do YouTube for a living. So all my coworkers, the people I work with related to that, live in other states, which is fun because I get to meet people all over the world. And this weekend, one of my friends happens to be in town. She's sitting next to my wife. And so since she is not from Texas, as soon as she came to town or told us she was coming, we started brainstorming oh, she's going to come to Austin. We got to do all the cool stuff. We got to give her the proper Texas experience. So she arrived Friday. We live here in Hutto. So what do you got to do if you're in Hutto for one night? We went to the Texan Cafe. That's about as Texas as you can get, the Texan Cafe. And we went there, we ordered pies, we looked at all the decorations, we told the tale of the hippo in Hutto, all the stuff that you do, an amazing Texas experience. And as we're there, she's like, yeah, do you guys come here often? We're like, no, it's been 7 years since the last time we were at the Texan. So it's great, but yeah, it's been 7 years since we came here. Then we're trying to think what's other the cool Austin stuff that you can do. And we came up with Barton Springs at Zilker Park. So if you don't know, it's like an open water spring, facing downtown Austin. It's like a pool, but it's open water. And so we went to it, and it's just this amazing experience. It's 105 degrees outside. The water is, I believe, negative 25 degrees. You jump into it. It's so refreshing. It's just this amazing, amazing experience. So we go there, and immediately our friend's like, yeah, do you guys come down here often? Jennifer goes, no, I've never been here before. And I go, yeah, absolutely. I did back in 1991. 30 years ago. My mom brought me here a couple times back when I was a kid. Oh, really? Okay, wow, that's interesting. And so then after going to these amazing springs, we decide to head to the Hula Hut, one of my wife's absolute favorite restaurants. And if you don't know, it's on the lake. And so whether you're inside or outside, you're just facing out at the lake. You can't tell from the picture. It just looks like I could be at any place. I could be at the Chili's in Hutto for all you know. But with all the overblown windows, that's the lake. It's this amazing view. And even better, you go outside and they have a mechanical fish in the water. If you get to see this picture, you guys will be amazed by this. Fish in the water, spitting water out of its mouth and going like this very slowly. It's, if you're my wife, it's amazing. If you're anyone else, it's oh, that's kind of sad. But for my wife, she sees it, she goes, that is amazing. And like I said, the food was fantastic. And so once again, we eat this amazing food, and our friend goes, yeah, you guys come here often? And I go, yeah, when I was here back about 20 years ago. And my wife goes, yeah, it's one of my favorite restaurants. I was last year, I believe it was 7 years ago when Riley and Elena got married, and for one of their bridal shower deals, the meal was here. Favorite restaurant, been 7 years. And we kind of had this moment, we paused to think about it, we were like, wait a minute, we live here. And if we're let's have an awesome night, we're thinking, let's go to the Chili's in Hutto. The most mundane, boring things. There's all these amazing places to go, amazing restaurants, amazing places to be seen. But instead, we forget about all the cool stuff that's here. All the amazing things we've ignored, and they've been here all along. And it's not like I don't like to do interesting things. A month back, my wife went to Orlando for a work trip, and she's like, well, if I'm in Orlando, I'm going to Harry Potter World. So I actually went to Harry Potter World. A couple years back, I went to LA, and I went to my friends I was staying with. I was like, I want to do all the things you can do in LA. And they're like, what's LA? You can't possibly do all the things here because everything is a thing to do because it's LA. It's interesting. It's like, all right, I want as many as I want a day. I want to do something cool. But the place I live, I ignored all the amazing things. And why is that? That like when we go somewhere, there's that urgency, there's a novelty to it, so you want to experience everything. But the familiarity of where we're at, we kind of forget about it. I mean, even as we were driving through town, I was like, they shot the pilot for Friday Night Lights right over there. And everything we did seemed amazing yesterday. But otherwise, it just feels like, yeah, I'm in Pflugerville. It feels pretty familiar and dull and boring. So why is it that things that seem amazing cannot lose their shine? They stop being interesting. And sometimes we take for granted the amazing things around us.